third down and 8, man all alone. They will roll him out. That's the guy they hit it, and it will be intercepted. Campbell County as it bounced off of him right. It'll be Campbell County's defensive back. 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 5. Out. Preston Miller catches the ball on the deflection and just takes it all the way in for a State Farm Agent Lynn Ray touchdown, and that was pretty damn. One up to the top. It'll be Corey Phillips. Cordell, same guys in. Jeffers will fake it one way, throw the tunnel screen to Miller. He has it at the 5, makes one man miss, just dances in, and that's too easy for a touchdown. Campbell County, as it's Joseph Elkins on the play, not Miller, but that one, State Farm Agent Lynn Ray has to be loving tonight because they're making it look easy. Campbell County waiting for the signal. 2 receivers down to the bottom, 2 up to the top. Cordell will be off to Jeffers' left. He'll stand in the pocket, throw a draw now to Cordell. He has one man to make miss. He does make him miss. 15, 10, 5. Gets around the corner for a touchdown, Campbell County. Paul Cordell making one man miss and then just lowering his shoulder, bowling over the Lynn Camp Wildcats for our 4th State Farm Agent Lynn Ray touchdown of the night. And, Jamie, we still have 2:35 left to go in the first quarter. The football game, they will throw it in there to, that looks to me like that's Preston Miller on the play for a touchdown, Campbell County, as Miller had no one around him, and that is our 5th State Farm Agent Lynn Ray touchdown of the night. And, Jamie, I never thought I'd say this, but it's getting kind of hard to come up with enthusiasm when you're up 34-0 in the first quarter. Jacob Bunch up there to the top. The other 2 receivers hard to make out at this point as Dim down there. Jeffers will stand in the pocket, flip it out to the back. He makes one man miss. Bunch lowers his head and gets down there for another touchdown for Campbell County. Bunch just sort of lowered his head on that one as he did last week, and that is another touchdown brought to you by State Farm Agent Lynn Ray. Campbell County leading in the football game by a score of 49-0. Rosas will come in to kick. Bad snap, and this one will be the, actually, puts it through the uprights. I thought it squirted out to the other side, but he got it good. Campbell County leading in the football game by $0.50 to 0. But Seth Roberts showing some genuine enthusiasm. 5'6", 135. Freshman, but Jamie, he's going to remember that one for a while. Yeah, he's going to remember that forever. Jay, it looks like we've got a Wildcat that's limping off the field. Looks like they're going to take a timeout here, and maybe I get a chance to get frank with the timeout. This is Q Country, WTNQ-FM 104.9.
At Rainbow Ford La Follette, there's over 90 used vehicles in stock, like a 2001 Ford Taurus, only 68,000 miles, stock number P2743A, $6,995. Or how about a 2004 Cadillac CTS, leather, sunroof, stock number P2740AA, only $12,995. Or a 2007 Pontiac G6, V6 engine, aluminum wheels, stock number P2829, only $8,995. Today at Rainbow Ford, 1916 Jacksboro Pike, La Follette.
Q Country, WTNQ 104.9.
Seth Roberts for Campbell County flipping the field on an interception in a 50-0 football game. 3 minutes left to go. Freshmen all over the field for Campbell County. 3 receivers down to the bottom, 1 up to the top. Josh Lay will be in at quarterback, and it looks like it will still be Daniel Elkins, the 5'10", 140 junior in. Earlier, he had a touchdown that was a pretty run, taking it off the draw and getting on the scoreboard there as Lynn Camp comes up to blitz. You got to like the aggression that Lynn Camp's still playing with here at 2:34 left to go. Brian Blue looks to be the guy dancing up. They will take a knee, and this one is getting close, Jamie, to Don Meredith time, where you're going to sing "Turn Out the Lights." The party is over. Jamie, what's your favorite color? Glitter. Yes, I knew we'd work it in at some point. As hopefully our fans in Florida are still listening. We have several folks from Florida that tune in to make fun of us. I'll bet money they're still listening. I'll bet money. Streaming online at WTNQ-FM.com through the power of the internet. They are probably listening. And this is how silly it's got tonight, folks. Jamie's mother just texted in. She thinks he's mad at me. And he's giggling over here off to the side. 1:35 left to go. As you can tell, we're just trying to count this one down. As Campbell County are going to be winners on the road, we should try to get a statistic for you to see if this is Campbell County's largest lopsided win ever. As 1:17 on the clock. As Campbell County probably just content to pick this one down. But, Jamie, are you mad at me? I'm a little hurt. Well, just various things. He's going to let me take the rest of the show, and that is a terrible, terrible mistake on his part, so we're just going to turn it back over to him. See, now I give you your one shot at play-by-play glory. We could have broken that one for 90 yards as they hand it off to the tailback, new tailback into the football game, runs into his own man, getting tackled by Campbell County. That's a new scamper in there for Campbell County, trying to make out the number as he turns around. Looks like it's number 30 for Campbell County. That is Hayden McIntosh, the 5'9", 165 freshman. He had some wheels on him, though, it looked like. 15 seconds left to go. We are all but over in this one and has been for quite some time as we are getting ready to go to the hometown Sears store of La Follette and Bird Screen Printing post-game show as the clock mercifully ticks down. 1 second left to go. It's all over. Campbell County travels north of the border tonight to defeat the Lynn Camp Wildcats to go 2-0 for only the second time in their history as they win tonight by a score of 50-0. Let's get into the hometown Sears store of La Follette and Bird Screen Printing post-game show. This is Cougar Football on Sioux Country WTNQ-FM 104.9.
Sears Hometown Store in the Food City Center, La Follette is a proud sponsor of your Campbell County Cougars and your neighborhood store for great savings on appliances, lawn and garden, tools, bedding, and more. They're locally owned and operated, and they're your destination for the top 10 appliance brands like LG, Samsung, Amana, Bosch, KitchenAid, Kenmore, Whirlpool, GE, Maytag, and Frigidaire at the lowest prices guaranteed. Join your Sears Hometown Store in La Follette as they say, "Let's go Cougars."
Tennessee Radio Network Sports. I'm Dave Jennings. Busy night last night. Titans actually played many of their offensive starters in last night's exhibition finale. A loss to the Vikings. Jake Locker was 3 of 5 for 31 yards. Jeff Scott scored on a 75-yard touchdown with $1.07 left. Mississippi rallied twice to knock off Vandy 39-35 in a wild one last night. Vandy actually went up 35-32 with 1:30 left. Tennessee Martin got a win, beating Chattanooga 31-21. Skyhawks amassing 289 yards on the ground. A weekend of new coaches. Butch Jones opens up his era as Tennessee's coach by hosting Austin Peay. Shouldn't be a lot of drama here. They're an FCS program that went 2-9 last year and dropped 16 consecutive road games. Austin Peay also ushers in a new coach, Kirby Cannon. And a bit of drama in Nashville Saturday night as well. Kentucky and Western Kentucky hook up there. The Cats on the Hilltoppers also breaking in new coaches. Kentucky welcomes in Mark Stoops. Western has Bobby Petrino. The Toppers beat the Cats last year. Major League Baseball news, the Cardinals have acquired righty John Axford from the Brewers in exchange for a player to be named later. The 30-year-old is expected to join the Cardinals tonight for that big series in Pittsburgh. Axford 6-7 on the season, an ERA of about 4.5. Top two teams in the AL Central also squaring off tonight. That race not as close, though. Detroit hosting Cleveland with a 6.5-game lead over the Indians. And speaking of the Indians, they picked up Jason Kubel from Arizona in an effort to provide some offensive punch to their lineup. The Sprint Cup drivers hit the mile-and-a-half tri-oval at Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend. The countdown continuing toward the chase for the Cup. Qualifying is tonight. And Lee Na avenged her third-round loss to Laura Robeson in last year's U.S. Open. She won in straight sets today. Tennessee Radio Network Sports.
At 23, Lance Gieselman's back was broken, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down and his left leg amputated.
I enlisted in the United States Army. went to Iraq 2003.
Lance's tank was completely destroyed when it was hit by an improvised explosive device.
I was a homeless survivor.
Paralyzed Veterans of America is an independent organization dedicated to ensuring our injured veterans get all the benefits they've earned and need. Paralyzed Veterans Senior National Service Officer Anthony Steele.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes to serve our veterans.
The PVA, from the very beginning of my injury, has always been there for me. If I was having problems with the VA, they were always there to step in.
Injured veterans like Lance will continue to need medical care and services for the rest of their lives, and Paralyzed Veterans will be there to help. If you would like to help our veterans, visit pva.org. A public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
He worked out early, practiced late, and studied well into the night. The next day, he did it all over again.
She missed time hanging out and socializing with friends so she could make it on time to practices and games.
He became a top student and a confident leader, even as he helped his team win back-to-back conference titles.
She became a role model in her community, even as she led her team to an undefeated season.
And when they finished playing high school sports, what did they do next?
She graduated from college with honors and went to work for a successful company.
He attended graduate school and became a difference maker in his community.
Because that's what student athletes in Tennessee do. They use the skills they develop playing high school sports today
to do even bigger things in life tomorrow.
High school sports.
A winning part of a complete education.
This message presented by the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association and the Tennessee Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
For all your screen printing needs, Bird Screen Printing in La Follette. Signs, banners, t-shirts, magnets, decals, you name it, Birds can print it. Great for athletic teams and civic groups, too. Own a business? Get your work crew shirts now. Let your message be seen. Bird Screen Printing, 225 East Central Avenue, La Follette. Call them today, 562-3044. That's 562-3044. Bird Screen Printing.
Hey everybody, I'm Kenny Chesney. I'm such a big fan of America's national parks. There's nothing better than the mountains, the lakes, the oceans, which is what makes protecting these historical national treasures so important. Please join me in the National Parks Conservation Association in making sure the seashores, mountain ranges, and lakes will be around for future generations to enjoy. For more information, log on to preservetheparks.com.
And here is today's Q Country Calendar.
The 42nd Annual Mountain Heritage Festival will be held on August 31st and September 1st in Stinking Creek. Vendors are welcome. For more information, call 423-494-5857. The 13th Annual Co-Ed Softball Tournament to benefit the Campbell County Children's Center will be held September 6th and 7th at Asbury Park in Caryville. Entry fee is $150 per team. Play begins at 6 p.m. on the 6th and resumes on the 7th at 9 a.m. For more information, contact Tracy Davis at the CCCC at 423-562-4190. The Shepherd's Home Annual Celebration Banquet will be held Tuesday, September 10th at 6 p.m. at the Indiana Avenue Baptist Church. Join them for an evening of testimonies and fellowship. For more information and tickets, call 423-562-0030.
And this has been today's Q Country Calendar. All right, Frank Scott here in the Q Country Studios. In just a few moments, we'll go back to Jason James and Jamie Murray. Campbell County defeating the Wildcats of Lynn Camp, Kentucky, 50-0. Campbell County starting the 2013 season 2-0. Coming up here in just a few minutes as we head into the hometown Sears store of La Follette and Bird Screen Printing post-game show. I'll have scores from around East Tennessee. But right now, let's go to Matt Hinkin for a weather update.
Any isolated evening showers or thunder showers die out with the setting sun. Patchy fog near 70 overnight. We're at close to 90 with scattered afternoon storms for Saturday. Some of those could be around Neyland Stadium for the ball game, so keep an eye on that. Scattered storms again late Sunday and more likely Monday, Labor Day, as a cold front approaches the area, followed by cooler air. It's the Labor Day sale at Keener Lighting. Buy any in-stock Quozel handmade leaded glass Tiffany-style light. Get up to 35% off. From the 6th Storm Team, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Hinkin for the East Tennessee Weather Network.
Energy efficiency interviews are brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
April.
Yeah?
So you know your charger that's plugged into the wall? It's still using energy, even though it's not attached to a phone. That's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone. You know what? I'll just unplug it. I'm busy. I'll call you back.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse? Learn more at loseyourexcuse.gov.
My name is Mary Crafts, and this is how I live united. I spent the last 24 years serving others in my catering company, but I felt that a huge part of our community was still being underserved. Those invisible children and young families. With United Way, I advocate for them any way I can. As a volunteer, I go into people's homes and assess mother and infant well-being and help bring change and opportunity into their lives. Nothing feels as good as helping, so I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
All right, Frank Scott again here in the Q Country Studios. Let's go to the scoreboard. Well, actually, I tell you what, let's take another quick break. We're about to go back to Jason and Jamie, hopefully with an interview with head coach Justin Price in about 30 seconds.
Somewhere in the United States, a troubled teenage boy decides he's better off staying in school. Somewhere in India, a child is immunized against polio. Because somewhere a local Rotary Club has become involved. Whether it's funding scholarships, creating neighborhood centers, or ridding the world of one of its most horrible diseases, Rotary members believe anything is possible. Rotary, humanity in motion. Visit Rotary.org, celebrating 100 years of helping others.
Q Country, WTNQ, 104.9 FM.
Camp, Kentucky night, where the Campbell County Cougars tonight have blasted the homestanding Wildcats by a score of 50-0. You are listening to the Hometown Tier Store of La Follette and Bird Screen Printing post-game show, where tonight, Jamie, actually, I think we could stop here and talk about this. We got a pretty impressive little scene going on from us right now. Coach Phil Russell down here has the entire community talking to them, and it's actually kind of impressive. Yeah, Jay, he's got his team and looks like parents and students and everyone down here in the middle of the field, and he looks like he's just preaching a sermon. And it's really nice to see that these guys have rallied. The community's rallying around this team after, a 50-0 loss. And it's pretty impressive to actually get to watch something like this that we honestly never get to see. And we just wish nothing but the best for Lynn Camp and their coaching staff. Post-game stats now brought to you by Hometown Tier Store of La Follette and Bird Screen Printing. Not a whole lot of changes from second half to first half, mostly rushing the football to get this one over with. Ethan Jeffers finishes the football game 10 of 16 for 169 yards, 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers, Bunch, Elkins, Miller, and Torres. Campbell County finishes the football game with 260 total yards. Lynn Camp only 35 total yards. Campbell County 13 rushing attempts, 91 yards for a 7-yard average, 2 touchdowns on the ground. They held on to the football for 22 minutes and 39 seconds, 7 first downs. They were 2 of 4 on third down. Maybe early on keys to the game, your number one key to the game was that Campbell County had to get out on Lynn Camp early, and they did that. Yeah, they did exactly that, Jay, and they just put the pedal to the metal and really didn't let up at all until they made it to the mercy rule limit there. And it was pretty impressive to see them really play a very good first quarter, which seemed to have lasted an eternity. But, looking into next week, it totally different level of competition. It's district ball, and it's Central, and they're pretty good. So it's going to be a completely different ball game next week, and hopefully the Cougars after this don't have some kind of road game blow away hangover. So you want this back. Campbell County will hit the second game of a 2-road stretch where they, like Jamie just said, get into district play for the first time. We actually have Coach Price in here with us for the Hometown Tier Store of La Follette Bird Screen Printing post-game show. And, Coach, you and I talked earlier in the week where your biggest concern was that your guys come out and take care of business, 36-0 mercy rule in the first quarter. I think you've got to be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, I am. Anytime you can come out and take care of business the way that we did, as a coach, you can't be more pleased with our guys. I'm sure we'll watch film and we'll find areas that we can improve on. But, I think this may be the biggest victory in the history of our program. And I tell our kids to be proud that this is only the second time in school history that we've been 2-0. And, we don't want to talk too much about the past and records and all that as coaches, but sometimes it's good to, when these kids do everything you ask, when they invest so much time, it's good to pat them on the back sometimes and let them know some things that they're getting accomplished.
You mentioned it's only the second time that Campbell County's been 2-0 in their 38-year history. I actually looked it up today. Campbell County's only started out 1-0 intact in their 38 years. So you've definitely got the ball rolling in the right direction. But are you afraid at all that next week, like Jamie and I talked about, that Cumberland Gap, not too bad competition. Lynn Camp obviously outmanned their, they only have 200 kids in school, I think we were told. So are you concerned at all next week about just a step-up level of athleticism that you guys might get shocked by?
Well, I think anytime you play that type of athlete that Central's going to put on the field next Friday, it always worries you as a coach because you can't simulate in practice, and most teams you play can't have that type of speed. So, it's something that's in the back of our mind. But, the thing I'm proud of our kids was whether we're better than Cumberland Gap and Lynn Camp, we didn't know until we got there Friday, and our kids took care of business. And that's something that very pleased with that, because in the past sometimes we've kind of let teams that we're better than hang around, or we've played down to their level. The last 2 weeks I feel like we've played to our level, and that's important, especially as we come into district play with Central coming up, who's a quality opponent, and Coach Hassel, those guys got it going down there. So it's going to be an interesting night for us, but I think we're up for the challenge.